And thank you so much for joining us for CBN NewsWatch. I'm from Graham. Ahead today, a Republican wave about to swamp the Democrats in the midterm elections. Polls show Republicans gaining ground across the country, possibly taking back the Senate as well as the House, as Democrats are openly concerned about their chances.
I am worried about the level of voter turnout among young people and working people who will be voting Democratic.
More nuclear threats from Russia, that coming as Iran is supplying Vladimir Putin with powerful drones.
In the case of the Russians, they're using this to basically terrorize civilians by attacking apartment complexes and going after a power grid and stuff.
And we'll look at how these Iranian drones could be used against Israel in the future. A special program for men of faith struggling with very real mental health issues.
It is egregious, especially in Christian homes. So goes the mental health of the man to a great degree. So goes the spiritual vitality of the family.
We'll hear about a special show bringing hope for those who need it. And our special report from gospel music's biggest night, the Dove Awards, as we spoke to some of the most influential names in Christian music.
All the people gathered here at the Dove Awards today are celebrating the fact that God is the answer.
Those stories and more today on CBN NewsWatch.
This is CBN NewsWatch.
We begin this half hour with growing talk of a red wave, possibly even a red tsunami, with the midterm elections now just 2 weeks from tomorrow. And right now, polls are indicating major moves to Republican candidates, even in some traditionally Democratic areas. CBN's Dale Hurd has our top story.
Pollsters and political strategists say Republicans could win the 6 seats necessary to take back the House, once considered a long shot by election analysts. Republican leaders are also optimistic they'll gain at least 1 seat necessary to regain the Senate. There was a noticeable sound of panic in Senator Bernie Sanders' voice Sunday when he told CNN he's concerned Democrats are not motivating their core constituencies to show up on Election Day.
I am worried about the level of voter turnout among young people and working people who will be voting Democratic. And I think, again, what Democrats have got to do is contrast their economic plan with the Republicans.
There's a chance the red wave could even score GOP wins in Georgia and Arizona, where Republican challengers have been dogged by critical media coverage.
If Carrie Lake wins by a sufficient margin, she might just bring Blake Masters in on her coattails. Same thing in Georgia. If Brian Kemp wins by a 5 or 6 or 7 point margin, he may just well bring Herschel Walker in on his coattails.
Polls show the top issue for voters is the economy and inflation. But House Speaker Nancy Pelosi told CBS Sunday the media needs to change the subject.
When I hear people talk about inflation, as I heard him there, we have to change that subject. Inflation is a global phenomenon. The fight is not about inflation, it's about the cost of living.
Democrats thought they could get a lot of election mileage out of the Supreme Court's overturning Roe v. Wade. But the abortion issue among voters ranks far behind the economy and crime.
Nobody said we're doing abortion rather than economy, but it's about both.
Joe Biden's unpopularity has also not helped, and some Democratic candidates have distanced themselves.
I want to be the face of this campaign. I've done this for 18 months. We've done it on our own.
When Nancy Pelosi was asked if she would step aside as leader if Democrats lose the House, she dodged the question.
Will you remain in leadership in the new Congress?
I'm not talking about that. I'm here to talk about how we win the election.
And despite what Joe Biden called Jim Crow 2.0 laws that Democrats said would restrict access to polling places, early voting has been shattering records. Dale Hurd, CBN News.
I want to turn now to the war in Ukraine, where Russia's defense chief said Sunday Ukraine was preparing to possibly use a radioactive device known as a dirty bomb, which uses explosives to scatter radioactive waste. The U.S. and Britain rejected that claim, and Ukraine's president, Volodymyr Zelensky, suggested Moscow is actually setting the stage for using a radioactive weapon in Ukraine. That exchange coming as Iran is providing Russia with thousands of deadly drones. The Russians are unleashing them on Ukrainian civilians. The White House says Iranian troops are also on the ground helping Russian forces. Iran's aid for Russia also has serious implications for the United States and Israel. Chris Mitchell reports now from Jerusalem.
This is the aftermath of one of the many Russian attacks against Ukraine using Iranian-made drones.
What that means, obviously, again, we continue to see Iran be complicit in terms of exporting terror, not only in the Middle East region, but now also to Ukraine.
These drones are, about as big as a person or two people, so they're not huge, and they carry a warhead, and the warhead can basically be used to slam into something. Now, in the case of the Russians, they're using this to basically terrorize civilians by attacking apartment complexes and going after the power grid and stuff.
Seth Frantzman, author of the book Drone Wars, warns Iran has become expert in drone technology and that Israel will likely face these kinds of Iranian-made drones.
I think clearly in any future war, we'll see that drones will be flying at Israel and attacking Israel from Iran, Iraq, maybe even from Yemen, and also, of course, from Syria and Lebanon. This is a way for Iran to extend the front line against Israel to a 4,000-mile front line. And that makes it more complicated to interdict and stop them and predict them and detect them.
But for Europe, the future is now.
These are Iranian rockets which are coming to Russia and going to be launched on European soil. They're going to kill European citizens, European energy infrastructure. It's well past time for the Europeans to actually start doing something.
Noronha and Frantzman say the way the government of Iran is cracking down on the protests in its streets and this unholy alliance between Iran and Russia are a wake-up call to the West.
They're starting to realize that Iran doesn't share their interests and that Iran doesn't want peace and cooperation with the West. So it's sort of this common realization of just how dangerous Iran has been.
Finally, the West is waking up and saying, you know what, this is really not a regime that we can deal with. And the fact the Iranians are working with the Russians, and now the Iranians are terrorizing Ukrainian civilians with the drones, I think really everyone is saying, no, this regime is just awful, and we cannot ignore how bad it is anymore. And I think that's a big shift.
Chris Mitchell, CBN News, Jerusalem.
Coming up, be a mother or get a degree. That's the dilemma many college students with an unplanned pregnancy face, but it doesn't have to be that way. We're going to show you who is helping student moms one step at a time when we come back. College students who become pregnant often think they have to choose between having a baby or getting a degree. Many of these women feel isolated and unsupported. Thanks to an organization in Alabama, that situation is changing one step at a time. Charlene Aaron brings us this story.
The nonprofit group Baby Steps helps pregnant and parenting student moms at Auburn University with housing, support, and community. It can empower them to have their baby and education, a mission Baby Steps hopes to spread to other campuses across the country.
We have housing in the front house for our student moms that have newborns, but then we have 3 apartments separate in the back for mamas who have toddlers.
Baby Steps has operated near the Auburn campus for the last 5 years. Director of Operations Caitlin Willing shares how it all started.
In 2017, Michelle Schultz actually founded Baby Steps. She had an unplanned pregnancy here in Auburn when she was a student, a junior, and she didn't know what to do. She really thought her life was over the way that it was and didn't think that she could stay in school and finish her degree.
When I initially found out that I was pregnant, I thought, what is that blue line right there? Because I was not ready. I wasn't expecting it.
That's the reality for many young college students who fear that a child could shatter their dreams of getting an education.
I was driving to school and to work, so I work full-time, and I was living in Tallahassee. I had to drive 45 minutes to work. I'd go to school. I'd have to drive 45 minutes home, and by the time I got home, it was time to get Riley ready for bed. There was so much disconnect from trying to juggle being a parent and going to school.
An issue Willing knows all too well.
When I was a junior on Auburn's campus as well, I had an unplanned pregnancy, and navigating that was probably one of the most trying times in my life. I didn't know if I could stay in school and finish my degree.
Located just a short walk from campus, Baby Steps provides resources to help women on their journey to a college degree while also embracing motherhood.
There is a gap here where women may say, I do want to have my child, but now what do I do? And we know that the most amount of unplanned pregnancies happen between the ages of 18 and 29. So we saw that there was a need for a resource to help women truly finish their education. And the way that we can do that is to take all of the things off their plate that are stressing them out.
An on-campus club that helps meet the needs of student moms is just one way to alleviate some of that pressure.
We help moms in tutoring. We package and deliver meals this year, which is a new thing that we started, so that's fun. We get to offer babysitting services to moms.
Auburn senior Devin McGlong says volunteering to help fellow students is both rewarding and inspiring.
It's really cool to see graduation pictures from them because they look so proud, and they should be, because they did such a huge thing. Like, they raised a kid and they got an education, putting in the work that takes. Like, I can't imagine how hard it is.
While Auburn does not fund the on-campus club, Willing sees it as an asset to the university.
We have so many resources on campus because we do help their student retention. They want their girls to stay in school. It is such a beautiful way this community here in Auburn has stepped up and said, we're going to fill in the gaps for these women and we're going to help them succeed.
As a graduate with a degree in human development and family studies, Willing says it's refreshing to see other women fulfill their goals.
We've helped 18 students graduate, walk across that stage, whether they're still pregnant or have a little one in tow, which has been a beautiful thing. We've served 85 student moms in some capacity since opening our doors in 2017. And we have had 8 girls live in this home and finish their degree.
Many are beyond grateful.
Without baby steps, I don't think I could invest in my child the way that I needed to. And they gave me that window of opportunity, and I'm glad I took it.
Much needed help that will soon expand to young mothers-to-be on other campuses.
We are currently going to the University of Central Florida. So we have one fully functioning site here on Auburn University. We are in the works of getting their campus launching, and we have another campus that's not too far behind them that we're working with to open their doors.
Charlene Aaron, CBN News, Auburn, Alabama.
Still ahead, hope for men of faith struggling with mental health issues. We'll tell you about an upcoming special program right after this. New research suggests 1 in 5 Americans struggling with a mental health challenge such as depression, trauma, or anxiety, but many more people may be suffering in silence. That includes Christian men. Tomorrow night, CBN is airing a free program to help men of faith handle mental health issues from a biblical perspective. CBN medical reporter Lori Johnson brings us this preview.
Carried, Real Support for Mental Health is an interactive program aimed at harnessing the power of faith to heal.
The primary battlefield that you and I have to confront is right here. It's the battle for our minds.
Reverend Sammy Rodriguez says men may not realize their problems often rub off on others.
It is egregious, especially in Christian homes. So goes the mental health of the man to a great degree. So goes the spiritual vitality of the family.
In the program, Rodriguez points out biblical examples of God's emotional healing.
There's a prophet named Elijah in 1 Kings chapter 19 who suffered from anxiety, fear, and depression, and he required supernatural intervention. Really, God did therapy.
Mental health experts say guys in particular can have difficulty admitting problems.
There's a stigma associated with mental health and men. It's seen as a sign of weakness.
Keeping those feelings bottled up, however, often makes things worse.
We act out what we haven't worked out. Everything just starts to explode. And I think that's why you see a lot of substance abuse, a lot of anger, and more coming out of men.
Even Christian men not struggling with mental health issues can learn how to help brothers who are.
You know, the scriptures say, faithful are the wounds of a friend. That's the man who's speaking to the life of another man who genuinely cares about him and says, hey, wait a second. And when the time's right, what's going on? Are you doing okay? You seem like you're struggling, man. You seem a little off today. Those windows are massive opportunities to speak.
Celebrity testimonials reveal these things can happen to anyone.
This summit can help you know what to do, how to do. I even tell some stories from our own family and some things that we did to try to help our family members.
After the summit, there's follow-up, a 21-day challenge that includes daily devotionals, information about where to get reliable professional help, and ways to stay strong through relationships with other Christian men. Lori Johnson, CBN News.
And here's some information you need to know about where you can see the program Tuesday night at 8 Eastern. The CBN News Channel will air the special one-hour summit. It's called Carried Real Support for Mental Health. It's put together by Promise Keepers, and again, that is tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Coming up, we're going to take you to gospel music biggest night, the annual Dove Awards. We'll hear from winners of the biggest awards and some of the biggest names in Christian music from those award ceremony. We'll have that for you coming from Nashville. We'll be right back. Stay with us. There's no denying the power of a song, and some of the most influential voices in Christian music united to celebrate that truth at this year's Dove Awards. We traveled to Nashville to bring you this firsthand look at the 53rd annual celebration.
It's gonna be a night.
It's gospel music's biggest night, and among the big winners, CeCe Winans, taking home Dove Awards for Artist of the Year and Song of the Year.
This whole record, believe for it, it's just amazing what God is doing.
And Wilson's My Jesus earned her honors for Pop Contemporary Song of the Year and New Artist of the Year.
I want to thank my sweet brother in heaven who has inspired me. That's why I do what I do.
Joe took home the prize for Contemporary Gospel Album of the Year.
Papa told me something happens when I pray.
And she scored Gospel Worship Song of the Year for Breathe, a tune she wrote and recorded with Jonathan McReynolds, Chandler Moore, and Maverick City Music.
For us, this Breathe project was an intentional move to get together and collaborate with people that didn't look like everybody else.
Phil Wickham also took home 2 statues, one for Worship Song of the Year and another for Worship Album of the Year.
I just can't believe that God would give me a voice beyond the walls of my church to write new prayers for the church to sing.
And GMA honored Jacqueline Carr.
My portion, Jacqueline Carr!
For Traditional Gospel Song of the Year.
I wasn't even expecting it, but I guess this is my portion.
And she's just one of many artists we caught up with on the red carpet before their names were called. How does it feel to walk yet another red carpet? Does this get old?
It does not get old. It's always great. And then, of course, on the carpet, I think one of the biggest perks is we get to see our family members. I call them family.
I think there's so much goodness and richness and anointing and gifting in the kingdom of God, and we're going to see it all tonight.
Tell me the nomination and how it's feeling.
Christian Hip Hop Song of the Year, Ain't Playing, featuring Social Club Misfits. And it feels amazing. Like I told everybody, I remember working in retail. I used to work at Nordstrom, picking up shoes, listening to Social Club Misfits. Now I'm here performing with them. So look at God, you know what I mean?
I really believe tonight, just from what I've heard in the rehearsals, we're going to hear sounds of heaven.
All the people gathered here at the Dove Awards today are celebrating the fact that, like, God is the answer.
You are nominated for how many things this evening?
Yeah, I got 4 of them, so hopefully I get 1. I don't want to go 0 for 4. So.
How often do we get to hear your name tonight, and how does it feel?
I don't know if we'll hear my name. You mean as a nominee or a winner? They told me I have 7 nominations, so but whether I win one or not, that doesn't bother me. I just enjoy coming here to the awards.
It's a chance to see friends, because all of us are all out touring so much, and you don't get so it's great to just, even if it's fast, just to see a friend you hadn't seen in a while, give them a hug, and just, we're all here, all of us are all doing the same thing, just trying to spread the word. So it's like, this is just like old home week reunion,
So I won a Stella Award. Now I'm coming for the Dove.
How are you balancing it all?
One day at a time, one moment at a time. I don't think he would give it to me if I wasn't capable of handling it.
Blessing Offer, nominated for New Artist of the Year.
That's what they tell me anyway.
How does it feel to be in that industry? I mean, knowing you're one of few.
Sure. Just an honor, really. It's not the easiest thing in the world, but also not the hardest. It's a blessing to be able to just find something that you love and see people appreciate it.
So you have Am I right? A half dozen nominations today? Or is it 6 or 4?
Yeah.
4. Okay.
Yeah.
How does it feel?
Yeah, so that number is special to me because my family's first album was nominated for 4 Doves.
How does it feel to walk the red carpet at the Dove Awards this year?
Man, it's a dream come true.
Did you dream this for yourself? I mean, I'm hearing your voice all the time. And did you dream this for yourself?
I did not. I didn't dream this. I was obedient.
I'm so thankful for what God has done in my life, and I love that song, Look What You've Done, is the one nominated, because it's such a testimony, and I feel like people have grabbed onto it as such an anthem, and so I think that's really special.
53rd Annual Dove Awards.
Here we are.
How does it feel to walk this red carpet tonight?
You know, it's like a family reunion, so I just love just seeing all the friends and celebrating what God's done in the music and the people.
It's about the people. It's about, like, if we can kind of keep it there, love on one another, I think we're going to be all right.
Well, time now for your Monday motivation. I'd like to share this message with you. Someone shared it with me and a group of people just the other day. The biggest room in the house is always the room for improvement. It's a lesson I've been contemplating all weekend long and thought it was very much worth passing on to you. Now is the time to get to work in that room. Learn more, do more, and improve. There is always room for it. Well, that is going to do it for this edition of CBN NewsWatch. I want to remind you can always find more of our programs on the CBN News Channel. You can find them there at any time as well as online, cbnnews.com. We would love to know what you think about the stories you've seen here today or any day. You can email us at the address. It's right there at the bottom of your screen, newswatch@cbn.com. And of course, you can reach out and touch us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We certainly would love to hear from you. I encourage you to make today a marvelous Monday and join us right back here, same time tomorrow. Goodbye, everybody. God bless you.